Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are going to be covering and talking about the actual motions on tonight. So, welcome back, and I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can. You may want to get uh, actually, you can just Google a cheat sheet, Robert's Rules of Order cheat sheet, and you can print it out. Um, or you can get a little notepad, whatever you're going to be using when you go to the General Assembly, and you can jot down these notes that I'm going to be going over tonight. Um, I want to show you something before we get started. Right here. This is called the House of Commons. It is a British Parliament. Let me turn the light down. And politics. So that you okay, here. It's a pretty bad picture. I really need to actually print one out. I just thought of this. But the point is to allow you all to see that the House of Commons and here, the Speaker of the House of Commons, this is pretty serious. And we need to understand that our members of the organization do not truly understand just how serious this whole thing is. So I hope that you actually um, perceive that you are walking in as a type of congressman or congresswoman. When you go into the General Assembly of Washington, D.C., you're walking in as a type of congressman or congresswoman. And you have a very, very, your job is immense. So, with that in mind, we're going to now go over what Robert's Rules of Order is basically a system for. Okay. Um, Understand that in our organization, this is a system of rules that's meant to keep the meetings fair. Uh, I know that there's a concern that people have that the meeting's not going to be fair. They're not going to this. They're not going to dismiss all of those thoughts and just follow along, and you'll understand as we go. But Robert's rules ensure The use of these rules literally makes it so that the meeting is actually fair. Um, okay. And because the rules are there, because the rules are in place, everybody must abide by the rules. Now, again, people saying, well, they're going to this, there. Do not entertain those thoughts at all whatsoever. Because there are rules, just like playing Uno. Once everybody knows the rules, well, if you get caught breaking a rule, well, then you got to go back. You can't play a card in Uno if it's unacceptable. You can't put down a red 2 if on the top of the deck you have a yellow 9. You're breaking the rule. You can't do that. Robert's rules of orders allow for everyone to be able to play the game fairly. Everyone has the opportunity of learning the rules before you play the game. If you are a delegate and you go to the General Assembly and you do not learn the rules of the General Assembly, if you don't learn the rules of the game, you don't learn the rules of Uno, then you are going to lose Uno. If you don't learn the rules of the game that you're about to sit down to play, then you are bound to lose the game. The only problem is the General Assembly in the House of Prayer is not a game at all. It is a very serious place that the leaders of our organization has been treating as if it is a game. But they've been keeping the members going to the General Assembly from learning the rules. So when you come, when you get there, here, 1 second, let me show you. Okay. So here. Nope. It's in my phone. Okay, so when here, May 26th, May 26th, rushing. Okay. May 26th. 1 second. May 22nd, 2026, I meant. That's this year. So you see the program, and let me blow this up a little bit. Okay. Now, once again, this is what they want. They want you to come sing a song, read scripture, hear a prayer, order business. They're looking for you to have roll call, waive the reading of the minutes, elect the General Assembly, and get out of here. Go home. Okay? That's what they want. And since the people of the organization did not know the rules of the game, the leaders of the house of prayer, they were getting what they want. But now we need the members to actually understand that this is not a game. And now that we've been finding out all these things about the bishop and Mr. Murray being beneficial partners or beneficial owners um, of all of the assets of the organization, um, with all of the paperwork that's been shown, all of the trustees that we have all over the organization, all of the properties that are in question, some properties they owe taxes on. I mean, way too many questions that the members have, but there's no answers. Why? Because we have literally been in a situation where the leaders have lied, manipulated, deceived all of us. So now we're in a place where we need to learn the rules of the game. So as we talk about and touch on what it is that we're doing, um, we need you all to understand how to play the game. So we're going to go over the rules of the game. And when it comes to Robert's Rules of Order, this is why they're simply called the rules of order, so that every member understand going into the General Assembly, the meeting will be fair. Anybody saying, well, they're going to this, they're going to that. No, 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 no. They are discounting Robert's rules. And I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. If you know how to play the game with the rules, then you have a chance of winning the game. Here we're talking about a meeting, and the only thing that the members need to understand is everything in a meeting conducted by Robert's Rules of Orders, everything is moved, just like a chess piece on a chessboard. The game will not go anywhere unless a piece is moved. And when you take the first piece and move it, now the opposition, they need to move next. But as long as you know the rules, you can now move your pieces correctly. You can move your pieces strategically. Right now, they've been playing this game for 100 years, and they're expecting the members to come in and not be able to play the game at all. In other words, this is not about you knowing more than the general council, you knowing more than the bishop. This is all about, and this is only about, hear me clearly. This is all about, and it is only about you learning the rules of the game. Um, Now, 1 second for me. One more second. Let me grab my thing so that I can actually do this without being distracted. Okay. Now, um, The first thing is you need to know that the rules keeps the meeting fair. So know that when you go into the General Assembly, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody hears. When you go into the General Assembly, any one of you, understand there are rules. Knowing that there are rules means that you don't have nothing to worry about. You don't have no problems because there are rules. And since there are rules, now everybody in here has to play by the rules. And since everyone has to play by the rules, that means that you can't get one over on me. And now that I'm learning that I'm the one that has the authority in here, now that I'm learning that I'm the boss in here, now that I'm learning that you don't have any power over me in here, now that I'm learning that you don't have any authority over me in here, now that I know that you can't talk to the people any kind of way in here, now that I know that you don't give orders to anyone in here, now that puts us, just like a chessboard, on an even playing field. Even playing field. Now, with that in mind, the way that it's been set up in the House of Prayer for all these years, the members have been subjected to psychological manipulation. I'm going to say this again. The way that our General Assembly has been set up, the members have been subjected to psychological manipulation. Okay, this is what I mean. Every single year up until this year, so far, I said this before, but I'm going to go into detail this time. The members have seen the general counsel at the doors. They're the ones at the door. They're the ones controlling the door, the psychological manipulation. They're the ones who controls the list, psychological manipulation. They are the ones who get to keep people out, right? Let people in or keep you out. Psychological manipulation. They're setting the stage for you to think in your head because you see general councilman. It is to set the stage that they're the ones in charge. When you get to the General Assembly, you need to see them as nothing more than a doorman at a hotel. When you get out the taxi and you just arrived from the airport and you pull up at the Marriott Hotel and you get out of that car and the doorman holds that door open to let you inside, your mind doesn't tell you that the doorman is in charge. That doorman is there to serve you. You are over that doorman because the doorman is working. They're there to serve the patrons of that hotel. Your money pays for the salary or the hourly wages and rate or tips. Your money pays for that doorman's bills, lifestyle, whatever. When you get to the General Assembly, do not think house of prayer. That's why I said, thinking about the CEO, don't think house of prayer, think business. The General Assembly has nothing to do with the house of prayer service. The General Assembly has nothing to do with convocation. The General Assembly has nothing to do with baptism. The General Assembly has nothing to do with communion. The General Assembly is nothing more than a business meeting. And everybody coming to that General Assembly is coming there with no positions in the entire organization. No positions in the organization. Everyone coming there. Everyone coming there is coming for one thing, to sit at the table, and everyone has the same authority. Everybody there, it is as if you are coming from different denominations. You have all of these people coming from different houses of prayers, but look at it like you're here from Pentecostal, they're there from Presbyterian, they're there from Greek Orthodox, they're there from Methodist, they're there. Each of you are there from a different denomination. You're there to represent your denomination. This is how you need to think about the General Assembly. You're not there to represent a different denomination. You're there to represent your congregation, but you need to think independently. I'm not here to vote along with anyone. I'm here to represent my congregation for the best interest of the people and the congregation. So going in, all these people talking about, the fear and being nervous and all that, that's just those people who don't understand the rules. If you don't know how to play Uno, you're going to be nervous playing Uno. If you don't know how to play poker, you're going to be nervous playing poker. But if you know how to play, if you know the rules, it doesn't matter, because now you can play with anybody. The rules keeps the meetings fair. The rules allow for the meetings, for the decisions to be made clearly. Each and every decision is to be made clearly. In that meeting, decisions have to be made. You are the ones that will be making decisions. Your job is to make decisions. Your job is not to go there and sit and do nothing. Your job is not to go there and sit and say nothing. And see, this is a problem, because I was told that yesterday, Mr. Barksdale in Virginia told those individuals, for those of you going to DC, y'all go there and keep your big mouth shut. You go there and keep your big mouth shut. If that is true, and I don't have any reason to not believe the individual who reported it, if that is true, what does that say about Mr. Barksdale? What does that say about the chairmans? What does that say about the pastors? What does it say about the bishop? These men are doing what they can to try to make you afraid. What does that mean? That means that they're the ones that's afraid. If they're trying to scare you, it's because they're the ones who are scared. If they're trying to intimidate you, it's because they're the ones that's intimidated. If they're trying to frighten you, it's because they're uncomfortable with what's coming up. They're the ones frightened. And they need to do underhanded, dirty things to try to move you to come in there and do nothing. Why would they be having all these meetings to prepare for the General Assembly if they're doing nothing wrong? Why would they be going through all this trouble when the General Assembly comes up if they are taking care of their members? Why would they be trying to flex and growl and grumble and make you uncomfortable? Why would the bishop set this thing up so that the pastors escort their members into the General Assembly. Why does he want the members that are delegates to be beside their pastors going into the General Assembly? Because they know that you don't know the rules. Here's your first rule. I said already, everybody is equal. There are no pastors in the General Assembly. You do not have a pastor in the General Assembly. I need everyone to understand what I'm saying. Even though they want you to be escorted inside, you need to understand that that rule by itself is unlawful. The first thing is seeing that they're trying to set up things to make you afraid. That should not make you afraid. That should make you angry. Don't show it. The fact that they're doing things to try to scare and intimidate you should not scare and intimidate you. It should make you angry. As a delegate, as a board member, you should be getting upset that they're trying to intimidate and frighten you so that when you come in there, you will not stand up and do your job. They want you to do nothing so that they can continue to instill fear and intimidate and frighten the members of this organization. They want you to do nothing so that they can continue to bully the members in this organization, so that they can continue to lie to the members of this organization. They want you to do nothing so that they can continue to deceive the members of this organization. They want you to do nothing whatsoever so that they can keep manipulating the members of the organization. They want you to sit still and be absolutely quiet unless I say speak, because they want to continue stealing from the members of this organization. And if you sit there and say nothing and do nothing, they will continue to bully you and everybody else. They will continue to intimidate you and everybody else. They will continue to lie to you and deceive you and manipulate you and cheat you and everybody else if you sit there and say and do nothing. But if you know the rules, then you will know your job is not to sit there and say and do nothing. That is the one thing that terrifies them. You waking up, you waking up to understand that they're terrified if you know that your job is not to do and say nothing. Those congressmen and women, they don't go to Capitol Hill to do and say nothing. They don't go up there to be quiet and just whatever they say, whatever, okay, I'm going to just stamp my approval and let them have what they want. Letting them have what they want means you're going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt. Everybody else is going to get hurt while they sitting back eating, drinking pina coladas out of glasses with little teeny tiny umbrellas while sitting on pink sandy beaches and the sun shining down on them while you're struggling, while you're hurting, while you're financially ruined because the members of this organization, their money is being sucked dry. by individuals that are leeching and leeching and leeching off of the people in here. Understand the rules. Anytime there are rules, then you don't have to worry. Because those who break the rules, they will be penalized. Okay? So all you have to do is understand the rules, follow the rules, stay within the guidelines, and I'm going to show you how to do every single thing you need to do to get you to understand why they're terrified. The rules, Robert's Rules of Order, secondly, is to prevent chaos. I'm going to say that again. It is to prevent chaos. Robert's Rules of Order does not allow chaos. Oh, they're going to this, they're going to that. No, 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 no. That's assuming that there's no rules. They're going to do this, they're going to that. No, that's assuming that nobody knows the laws and the rules. Well, they're going to talk to people anytime. No, that's assuming that people don't understand the rules. But because there's people in here that's going to understand the rules, they can't talk to anybody any type of way. They cannot bring chaos into that meeting because we know the rules. And I'm going to show you the moment anybody tries to raise their voice, I'm going to tell you what to say to instantly kill it. The moment that they try to get out of character, to bully you, I'm going to tell you what to say to instantly kill it. So, thank you, Liza, him and her. It's being written down what you need to understand so that you can keep up, pay attention, and go in there and not worry about nothing. Everybody's equal. There is no pastor and there's no member. There are only delegates. Everybody in there is a delegate. Everyone. Not one man or, listen, there's no apostles. There are no councilmen. And there are no pastors. They are the same as a brother and sister sitting on the back pew of the house of prayer on a Sunday morning. Inside that meeting, they are nothing more than a delegate. When the meeting is over and they walk out of that meeting, now that's your pastor again. Maybe that's the councilman again. Maybe. But during that meeting, they are nothing more than you are. You all are delegates. That's all. It's the same as you. If you're president of presidents at the house of prayer that you come out of, that you represent, you know that you're not a president of presidents there in Washington, D.C. when you go into the General Assembly. You can't do nothing as a president of presidents there. You know that you're the choir director over the choir at the house you're in. You know that you're not the choir director when you go to the General Assembly. That's what you need to remember about them. They're not the pastor there in the General Assembly. They're not the councilman in the General Assembly. Therefore, number two, what I was saying is know that General Assembly so far, they've been psychologically manipulating the members. Rule number two, they are playing psychological mind tricks that you need to ignore. Ignore all the tricks. Rule number two, ignore all of their tricks. When you get there, like I said, they're going to be on the door. They're going to be on the door, but ignore it. They're nothing but a doorman, like at a hotel. When you get inside, they're going to make you wait. More mind tricks. Don't worry about the mind tricks. Just sit there and wait. There's a TV show called Undercover Boss. If you have not seen it, you need to go on YouTube and check it out. Undercover Boss. And what this is a company CEO who's over day-to-day operations, right? They're the boss out there. The CEO is not coming into the General Assembly to be a boss. He's not the boss in the General Assembly. Everybody is the CEO's boss in the General Assembly. But there's this show called Undercover Boss. He goes into, if he owns a KFC, he goes into a local KFC, and just as if they're working their first day on the job, just to see how the other staff is going to treat them. And they let people push them around. Because in their mind, I want to see what y'all going to do. I don't want y'all to know that I'm the boss. I want to see what y'all going to do. That's how you need to go into the General Assembly. Knowing that you're the boss, but say nothing. Poker face. I want to see what y'all going to do. I don't want you to know that I know that I'm the boss. I want to see if what Brother Lewis said on all these videos is 100% true. And that y'all going to play these psychological mind games thinking that that's going to fly. I want to see. Because on that show, Undercover Boss, a lot of times when they've had enough, they put their foot down. Sometimes they even fire people. And if you walk into that General Assembly believing, well, everything's fine, everything's okay, and we don't have any problems, there's no big deals, there's no issues. Well, maybe the treatment of the men in there acting like they're your boss, maybe their treatment of you in that meeting on that day might convince you that y'all need to go. Because y'all just doing too much. Y'all doing the most. And y'all know as well as I do that y'all don't have no authority over nobody in here. Not in a General Assembly. Nobody has power over anybody inside of a General Assembly. You are all equal, including the CEO. Even the CEO. Now, what does this mean? This means that the councilman, and I'm looking at what you're writing, the lives of him and her. So if I said number 2 is that no chaos, then number 3 is they're going to expect the psychological mind games, the mind tricks, and ignore it. Ignore it. That means that the council, they're not supposed to be sitting up in the front of the room. There's not supposed to be any seats for these men to sit up there. They're supposed to come and sit inside that body. Okay? Dwayne, they're not going to tell anybody to shut up and sit down. They're not going to do that. I guarantee everybody in here, they will not tell people to shut up and sit down. I personally guarantee you that. Because they already know there's rules. It's like, again, playing Uno. They can't tell you if the pile is yellow and you take out a yellow number 1 to win the game. They can't tell you can't do that. You know the rules. What do you mean I can't do that? I won the game. Just because you're mad does not mean you get to change the rules at the last minute so that to give you an advantage to allow you to win. No, I know the rules. I won this game. No, I said take that card back. The game not over. Yelling is not going to make you lose the game. Yelling is going to make them look stupid. And then the rules say that there are penalties to individuals that act out of order inside of this meeting. Now, all these years, the organization has been saying that we abide by Robert's Rules of Orders. We go by Robert's rules. Now, they set the rules. Okay. So we're going to use the rules, and we're going to tell you how to use the rules so that you keep them in place, so that you keep them in check. See, here's the thing that you all need to understand. First of all, I don't say this too much, but I've done quite a few things, and I taught people how to use the law. And each time people were surprised because they did things that they didn't ever expect that they would be capable of doing. But people didn't expect to be able to do it because they didn't know the law. But then they tried the law for the first time and they were skittish, they were skeptical, they were scared. But what if, just do it and watch what happens. But no. Do it and watch what happens. Why am I confident in telling you that? Because millions of people around the country are doing that you're doing for the first time, because millions of people, tens, hundreds of millions of people are following these rules because they know that they're laws that you can take advantage of. But you're not taking advantage of the same laws that they're taking advantage of because you never took the time to learn those laws. And some people wonder why they're not getting ahead. You will never get ahead if you don't learn the rules of the game. They're going to beat you every single time. Every time. But once you learn the rules and you pull the seat back up to that table the next time, oh, it's a new day. It's a new day because I have newfound knowledge. And the scripture said, that's why Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. We're not trying to find out the rules. No wonder you're falling further and further and further behind. Other people playing by the rules and getting further and further and further ahead. So now you know the rules. You let them play their little psychological games before the meeting start because they're going to test you. They're going to see whose facial expressions is a problem for them. They're going to see your body language, who has a problem with them. They're going to look for all kinds of little teeny tiny telltale signs of the individuals that they can point out and create a problem with so that they can try to separate them. No worry. All of that will get fixed too. So if they separate anybody that is a delegate, if they separate you, if they reject you, if they don't allow you to come in, that's okay. That is okay. Make sure you stand somewhere nearby that front door or on the side, somewhere on the side or that front. Okay? Don't worry about it. Things are going to get worked out. Because another rule is they can't change the rules. They can't change the rules. If we're playing Uno, you can't drop a surprise on me on the day of, only to tell me that, well, I'm sorry, we've decided that we're not going to play Uno using Uno rules. We're playing Uno today using the rules of poker. We know they're going to try to cheat. We know they're going to try all these different tiny antics because they are as guilty as sin. They know they are guilty. Only guilty people do all this stuff that they're doing to try to cover themselves from being held accountable for the things that they've been doing. If you're innocent, they won't be doing the things they're doing. So they can't change the rules at the last minute. If they do, ask them, where was this in writing? This means if someone intimidates you during a general assembly, I believe you're supposed. No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. It's right, but we're not there yet. No, not correct. Not correct. We're not there yet. Remember, this is not a normal situation, everybody. This is not a normal situation. Not yet. You're correct, but keep in mind, we haven't gotten into the General Assembly yet. Our people think that the meeting is called the General Assembly, and that's correct. But the General Assembly does not begin until the meeting is officially called to order. Anything before that, there's nothing you can do or say. There's nothing you can do or say. Okay. Thank you. But keep in mind, you have to get in the door, then you have to sit there and wait. They're going to be doing things while you're sitting and waiting. Be an undercover boss. I'm telling, pay it, everybody. Be an undercover boss. Just sit and wait. Go to sleep. Sit and wait. But when they prepare to start, get geared up. But know that the meeting has not started yet. So you still have to wait. When they call the meeting to order, now you can get ready to get your motions ready. When they call the meeting to order, and still don't do anything, don't do nothing, don't do anything. Just wait. Do nothing, just wait. The meeting is to be called to order. Right. So you see what I'm saying, right? Because before that, the meeting is not open yet. It hasn't been called to order. So you can't say point of order, not until the official start of the meeting. So everyone has to wait. You got to get your foot in the door. They're going to try crap at the door. That's okay. They're scared. They're nervous. They're panicking. They're desperate right now. They're desperate. Don't worry about it. Get in the door, find a seat. Find a seat. If your pastor is looking at you funny, asking a bunch of questions, don't worry about it. Just talk. Casually have conversation. Just talk. Just talk. And don't pull anything out. Don't do nothing at all. Nothing. When you get your seat, just get cozy, get comfortable. Wait for them to call the meeting to order, and then wait. Wait for them to have roll call. After they have roll call, continue to wait. Once they establish that there is a quorum, after the roll has been called, then things can start happening. Okay. Now, we're going to go through some things. And the last thing I want you to remember is that Robert's Rules of Order allows for everybody. No, you're fine. You're fine, Miss Mintz. And everybody, make all the comments y'all want. It livens everything. And it allows us to actually catch things, because a lot of people are thinking certain things and we won't know what to correct or what to catch if we don't hear it, if we don't see it. So no, make all the comments you want. But understand also the rules allow for every person to be heard. Every single person is to be heard. Okay. Now, that means if your hand goes up, they must call you. If there, B. Mevderman says, Pastor, you're their worst nightmare. Truth will stand. Standing on Robert's Rules, let's go. Yes, absolutely. That's what it's there for, to make sure that nobody can pull anything over on anybody. That's what it's there for. They're the ones that said that we're following Robert's Rules. Okay, so we're going to follow Robert's Rules. I'm going to teach you how to use the rules to the best of the most possible ability that you absolutely can. Okay. Many people, it's like Uno. A lot of people know how to play Uno, but don't know how to play. There's a difference with knowing how to play and knowing how to play. Some people think that just putting a yellow card, you're playing the game. No, no, no. Which yellow card? When you know which yellow card to put down, oh no, okay, I see you know how to play. You're not just playing, you playing. Okay. And sometimes people get partners in Uno. You don't want, same thing with poker or spades. You don't want somebody that just, play the game. No, you want somebody who knows how to play the game. Robert's Rules of Order is the same thing. You have to know what motion to put out, when to put out, how to put out. Okay, so we're going to show you all of that in such a way that is going to be nearly impossible to block you. Okay, it does not matter at all whatsoever what they do. Nothing matters about what they do once you know the rules, once you know what to say. Nothing that they do matters. And I'm going to show you that they don't know what they think they know. Okay? So y'all going to end up, some of y'all might even run circles all around them, and they will have no clue how to stop it. All right? So with that in mind, um, Brother Perry said, LOLK money. You're going to call the point of order at the door. You're going to give it all of right. This is what I'm saying. We got to get in first. No, it's all good, Kim. Miss Mintz. Um, okay. So um, we're going to go over motions. Motions is simply a formal proposal for everybody in this room to do something. That's all a motion is. It's like Simon Says. You all know the game Simon Says. So whoever the individual is that's playing as Simon, everybody else is supposed to listen to that person, right? And do what they say. The one making the motion is Cy, not Simon. There's Cy. But the person who makes the second, they're the ones that makes that Cy person Simon. So a person who jumps up and says, I make a motion that we XYZ, they're saying, I want to be Cy. I want to be Simon. I'm right now, I'm just Cy, but I want to be Simon. And when someone says, I second that motion, boom, that person just made them Simon. And now everybody in the meeting must hear the person who's presiding, who's directing the meeting. They must hear them repeat what Simon said. Simon says, but because it's one person, it's just Cy. If no one seconds the motion, then that's not Simon. It's just Cy. They're not Simon until someone seconds their motion. Now that's Simon. And the person presiding, they must repeat what Simon said. Simon, a motion has been made that we XYZ. Are you ready for question? Unreadiness. What is your unreadiness? Why is it that you or he, the delegate, proposing that we XYZ? Now the floor is open for discussion about what Simon just said. That's what a motion does. A motion, I move, I make a motion that we XYZ. Now the whole meeting is going to go in that direction. You just moved or you caused the entire meeting to go in that motion, the motion that way. Now everybody gets to be heard. And once everyone is heard, now comes the question. If there's no more debating and no more conversation, are you ready for question? Question. Now comes the vote. All of those in favor of doing what Simon said, let it be known by raising of your hands or saying aye or secret ballot. That's what a motion is. Okay? That's what a motion is. Now, the member raises their hand and they get recognized by the chair. I believe several things are going to happen. One of those things is they are going to try to block. Okay. Hopefully, they have one stand up to count votes along with the councilman because they can't be trusted. No, 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 no. We're not gonna have to worry about that. Okay. Everybody, don't worry about the council. Don't worry about nothing that these men have ever done before. Right? Hey, Zalika, don't worry about nothing these men have ever done before. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about none of it. None of it. None of it. Don't worry about none of it. I'm telling you, I'm going to show you all why you don't need to worry about the council. Okay? You don't need to worry about the council at all. Um, the council is under the impression that they're going to walk in there and they're going to control everything. Okay. I do not care. Y'all listen to me. I do not care what that council thinks. I don't care. Not one iota. What the CEO, what the bishop thinks. The only way they can control that council. The council is a group of men that's been appointed by the bishop to help the bishop do what he's doing behind the people's back. But in front of the people, the council acts as if they are a group of men who are there to judge problems in the organization. So people are called to come before the council so they can resolve problems. That's what it's supposed to be. But in reality, they're there to help the bishop do all kinds of things behind the backs of the members. So we now know that the council, the general council, are doing all kinds of things behind the backs of the members. We know they're corrupt. We know that the bishop is corrupt. We know they're doing all kinds of stuff. Whether people acknowledge it or not, we know it. And the truth be told, people who support him also know it. They know it. The council knows it. He knows it. Okay. So we're just throwing it out there. Now, in the General Assembly, it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what oh, yeah. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what the bishop thinks. They're planning to come in there and grab a hold of the General Assembly and control it. They want to shut it down so that nothing happens and nobody does anything and nothing gets done. And then the people leave. Don't worry about none of that. You are learning the rules. And with the rules, you're going to steer the meeting. I'm going to say that again. With the rules, you're going to steer the meeting. Now, the council is going to want to go left. They're going to want to go left and steer the meeting that way. But I'm going to show you how to take the rules and we're going to force that steering wheel to go right. That's what the rules will do. You can't do it. But the rules can make that meeting go from left to right. And they're going to try to steer it back, and we're going to keep it right there. They're going to try to pull it back. We're going to keep it right there. They're going to kind of stand right there. And the whole meeting is going to turn right. They wanted to go left. No, we're going to turn it right. We're going to make it go right. We're going to make it go right. We're going to make it go right. And it's going to end up going right. And the only way we can do that is by using the rules. The only way we can use the rules is you have to know and understand the rules. So this is why we're going slowly to make sure we understand the rules. The council is nothing but a bunch of mail ushers and butlers for the CEO. Got to give them something to do to make them feel special. Zalika said, did the members realize the power they have? Without the members and the money, there's no organization. No, that's why we're doing this, Zalika. The members don't understand the power that they have because they've intentionally been kept in the dark. For the first time, we're now giving an online training for the delegates in the General Assembly. Okay. And all it takes is a few people to learn the rules in order to steer the General Assembly. That's all it takes. Now, they're going to try to have people steer it. But this year, we're going to have people steer it. Okay. And what we do to steer it, it should make that whole meeting go right. And there's not one councilman that'll be able to stop it. So don't worry about these councilmen. Remember, they're not councilmen. In that meeting, they hold no authority. The CEO in that meeting, he has no authority. In that meeting, Mr. Cunningham is nothing more than a brother who walks in off the sidewalk and just being entertained by the choir singing on program. The council does not sit up in the front because they're not a council. The council doesn't sit up in the front because they're not a council. The CEO does not sit on the platform. I need y'all to hear me. The CEO does not sit up on the platform. That piece of paper, this piece of paper, this says Bishop. No. Let me do it like this. That says Bishop. Now, what's that next word? And. Bishop and. Bishop and. Remember Sesame Street? Bishop and. What does and mean? It means something else. The CEO, the chief executive officer, does not sit on the platform. No, the platform is for the services of the religious practice. The platform is for this person. The platform is for the bishop. But the bishop is not sitting in the General Assembly. The bishop is not there. The General Assembly is for the chief executive officer. And the chief executive officer does not even get up to walk on that platform. The chief executive officer is an employee. Of The chief executive officer is the employee. Look, now listen, watch this. Is the CEO of a nonprofit the employer or the employee of the organization? Look at that. The CEO or executive director of a nonprofit is an employee of the organization. They are hired by, they answer to, and are evaluated by the organization's volunteer board of directors. The board acts as the employer to the CEO, while the CEO serves as the employer slash manager for the rest of the nonprofits. The rest of the nonprofits staff, meaning he's over pastors and stuff like that, but the pastors are not hired by the organization. The CEO is hired by the organization. So the CEO is the employee. So when the CEO comes to the General Assembly meeting, he doesn't come in there as the bishop. He's supposed to come in as an employee to sit and be examined by or report to his employer. And who is the employer of the CEO in this organization? Didn't the organization have an election? Wasn't that election held inside of a general assembly? Why did the senior minister see to it that the General Assembly had an election in October of 2023? Why did the senior minister see to that? Because the General Assembly hires and or fires a CEO. So now, during the General Assembly meeting, after they hire a CEO, the CEO does not automatically become the boss of the General Assembly now and come and order the General Assembly, boss them around, tell them what to do. I'm going to sit up in that chair. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Y'all sit here and you listen to me and do whatever I say. Is that what an employee does once they've been hired by an employer? Nope. The only reason why he's been doing it is because the members have been ignorant of the rules of the General Assembly, which are based on the guidelines of Robert's Rules of Order. And the law says that the General Assembly is over the CEO. So, members, again, you are the undercover boss. Mr. Cunningham when he walks inside, number one, he's not supposed to walk down the middle aisle. He's not supposed to come in the middle door. Why not? Because the middle aisle and the middle door is the same thing as the chair on the platform. Those items are to be used by the practices of the religion. The CEO does not practice religious beliefs inside the General Assembly meeting because he's there to take orders. He's not there to give orders. I'm telling you all, and I know a lot of people thinking right now, well, who in the world is going to make that man listen? Robert's Rules of Order that the bishops have been saying we use to conduct our general assemblies. So, since you claim to be the bishop and CEO, well, now during the General Assembly, you take off the bishop's hat and you put on the CEO hat. And when you put on the CEO hat, you come to that meeting and you don't use that middle door because that's the bishop. The bishop walks through that door. The CEO is an employee. Y'all know how there's some hotels that have major events where people have paid a lot of money. Well, the guests, the people who put on that event, they come through the front door, right? But event staff is like a concert. The guests to that concert, they come through the front. But the event staff, the staff, the employees, they don't come through that front door. They come through the back. That's the employee entrance. The CEO, you don't walk in that front middle door. You don't come down that middle aisle. You don't go sit up on that platform because you're not here ruling over the General Assembly. We are your boss. You're here to be evaluated because you are the employee. So, with that in mind, every member, understanding that, should remove from their mind any nervousness, any skepticism, any worryation. The member raises their hand. They're recognized by the chair. Let me see what this is saying. Zalika said, do the members realize the power they have? Okay, we covered this. Golden Boy, like, whoa, to the tight. Gotta hit the little dance move, though, to the right. Whoa, to the right. Period. We're playing offense. Zalika, is the CEO the Supreme Bishop? The United House of Prayer calls Daddy. Yes. He's the biggest man in the entire organization. The lives of him and her, the rules are going to steer the meeting to go right. The general counsel may try to make it go left, but the rules will keep the meeting going right. As long as the people in the General Assembly, they use the rules, then they can steer it right. The council is going to use the rules because they know that the members don't know anything about the rules. So they're going to steer it left. You get up. No, 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 no. We need. Okay, let me just. Okay, all right, right here, and turn that steering wheel right. Now understand this. Every councilman is going to get up and try to make a motion. That's how they're going to steer the meeting. They must make motions too. They can't say, well, we're going to do this. No, nobody in that meeting says, we're going to do this. So they're going to try to make a motion to do this. And everybody in favor, that's where the people, whatever the council votes for or motions, y'all have the right to strike it down by not voting for it. Nope. Don't vote in favor of it. Are y'all beginning to see? The council can't do nothing because the council's not there. But the men who are normally on the council will be. But they're delegates. And just like the CEO can't walk through that, not supposed to walk through that middle aisle and go up to that front, the councilmen, they don't sit up there because they're not council. These are delegates. So a motion can be made for all the delegates participating in the meeting to sit in the pews and clear the front so that there's no feelings of intimidation provided to the rest of the delegates in the room. Provided you get a second, it has to be discussed and put to a vote. And once it's put to a vote, all the delegates in there vote in favor of it. Now, every one of those men got to clear the front. They got to take a seat in the pew. What just happened? You just took control of the General Assembly. Are y'all beginning to understand why the bishops and the council always say elders with credentials only? Because they know that the more people's in that General Assembly, the more members can vote against them. It makes it easy for them to control the General Assembly by having less and less and less and less people in it. We still have unlawful laws in the Constitution that need to be fixed. But already you should begin to see now, it doesn't matter what the council does. You can outvote them every single time. Why? Because you outnumber them. And all you have to do is not vote in favor of what they move the meeting to do. And then you make a move. You motion. I make a motion that we do not allow any of the men in this organization known as councilmen to make any motions during the remainder of this meeting due to feelings of unjust fairness, anything like that. Now, I'm going to give you specific language, but I'm telling you everything that you need to understand, because since it's already known, it's already in the open, that there are special circumstances that allow these types of motions, because we already know that they've been doing things and bending the rules of the organization and violating the laws of the organization. I have no faith that they're going to act in the best interest of the organization. That's a motion. Due to what has appeared to be their inability to act in the best interest of the organization, I move that we restrict any of the councilmen or pastors from making a motion in this meeting, provided I get a second. Now, of course, they're going to fight that but it has to go to a vote now. And as long as the people vote in favor, well, now they have to entertain it. And this is why they're so scared, because they know that the members outnumber them. They know that the delegates outnumber them. They know that. So any single vote that comes through that meeting is nothing for the members to outvote them. And as long as the members are standing together and voting, now, well, are the members going to vote in front of the people looking at them? Okay, maybe some of the people will still be intimidated. I move that every vote in this assembly be carried out by secret ballot due to the sensitivity of the nature of this meeting, provided I get a second. Boom. I second that motion. They can fight it all they want. Discuss it. They can fight it. No, we don't need to do that because blah, blah, blah. Okay, next comment. Next person who wants to rebuttal it. Well, I think that would be fair because blah, blah, blah. And then nobody really even needs to offer a rebuttal. You don't have to debate. You make your mind up. Well, I'm going to vote for it anyway. I don't care. 10 people can get up and try to stop it. But once they go to a vote, I'm voting in favor of it. That none of them men are allowed to speak in this meeting because we already suspect that they are not going to act in the best interest of the organization. That is a fair and valid motion. And if the people vote in favor of it, now none of them can come forward to make a motion. They can attend, but they can't come up and make a motion. It's the same thing for the positions in there. I make a motion for this because it is, I make a motion for this out of fear that we will not be able to have a fairly run meeting in this assembly, provided I get a second. I second. It has to go to the vote. So are y'all seeing now the power that you have? It doesn't matter that those few men who's been controlling this meeting for all these years to get nothing done, it doesn't matter. No, that's cheating. Y'all can't do that. Are you kidding me? You're kidding me right now, right? This is a joke, right? Where's the camera? Am I being pranked? Every single year they cheated. Every single year they moved the meeting to get nothing done. This year, you're not cheating. You're using the rules. They're going to try to make it look like you're cheating. They're going to try to make it seem unfair. Again, I'm not going to do it today. Today is Monday. Right now, I'm trying to consider when I'm going to give you the exact language to say. But I'm telling you how to move steer the meeting. So let's get on with the motions. The most important motions, these are the ones that's used constantly in the meetings. Let me see what the comment says. Zalika said, is the CEO the supreme bishop? The UHOP called daddy. Yes, yes. The rules are going to steer the lives of him and her. The rules are going to steer the meeting to go right. General counsel may try to make it go left, but the rules will keep the meeting going right. As long as the people use the rules, yes. And remember, the general counsel is not in the General Assembly. These are nothing but men that are delegates. That's all they are. They have no power whatsoever inside the General Assembly. The bishop has no power as a bishop inside of the General Assembly. Now, they've been doing things by this Constitution, but the Constitution is fraudulent. And they're going to make it seem like that there's something that you're doing wrong. But I'm telling you, by what's in the Constitution and the laws of the land, There's nothing out of order with the things I've said so far. And I would tell you why, but I don't want to do that yet. Uh, Zalika says it's about the loyalist that follows the supreme bishop. Um, there's a few loyalists, but what we're going to find out is whether or not the few loyalists outnumber those who are sick and tired. We have a lot of people who are sick and tired. And so we're going to set this up for them to literally knock it out of the park, so to speak, if there are enough people in there who's sick and tired of all this stuff that's going on. B. Mevdeman says, as Zalika, that's just it. The members have the power, just too afraid to use it, in my opinion. Yeah, they're afraid to use it because they did not know that they had it, right? They didn't have a clue that they're the ones that hold this power. The lives of him and her. Breaking news in the General Assembly, Mr. Cunningham is not acting as bishop. No, he's not. He's not. But as CEO, the delegates are the employers and the CEO is accountable to the General Assembly. Absolutely correct. Now we're setting things in order as it is supposed to be by law. Okay? So the members of the organization are coming to Washington so that they can hold the CEO accountable for his actions during a performance evaluation or whatever it is that they want to do with him because they're the employer. And guess what else? Here, surprise, surprise, I want to see something. I wonder if you all know what this is that I'm about to say. Is the District of Columbia considered at will employment? Considered at will employment. Y'all see this? A lot of people don't know what I just said. Yes, the District of Columbia is an at will employment jurisdiction. What does that mean? This means that unless you have an employment contract or collective bargaining agreement that specifies otherwise, your employer can fire you at any time for any reason or no reason at all. And it continues. And you can resign at any time without notice. At will means the employee can quit anytime he wants. But the employer can fire any time they want without any reason whatsoever. Did y'all hear what I just said? Washington, D.C. is an at will employment jurisdiction. Now, the General Assembly does not have to entertain different things with the CEO. All these years, the CEO keeps saying, well, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I don't have to let people this. I don't have to let people that. The CEO. Well, the CEO does not understand. Yes, he does. Because you don't have the authority to bark orders and tell people what you don't have to do. Now the shoe's on the other foot because people are understanding the laws of the land and the rules of the assembly. The CEO can get fired anytime, just like that. Are y'all beginning to understand now why I keep saying there's nothing for you to worry about? Nothing. Every year, every year, every single year, these bishops have threatened, tormented, psychologically manipulated, verbally abused, embarrassed, humiliated, and publicly scrutinized members of the organization while flexing their muscles. But now, members, do you understand? This is the one time per year that you have the opportunity to show the CEO what you think of their performance inside of a performance evaluation. They're not to come and sit over you. That has been deception all along with those men who've been acting as general councilmen all along. They've been deceiving and manipulating the entire organization. These are all facts. Now, you can either entertain them, and if you're feeling buttery, right? If you're feeling all uh, apple spice cakeish, if you're feeling all sweet tartish, and you want to allow them to come and sit tight, sit back, and just enjoy the festivities, well, you don't have to do anything at all. But if you're done enduring all of the harsh treatment from these men in this organization, it's as simple as a motion and a vote. Just like that. Now, instead of me continuing to give a whole lot of detail and dropping things on individuals to allow you to understand why you never had nothing to worry about, and all these people are saying they're going to this, they're going to that, they're going to, no. They are going to mess around and get terminated. People say, well, wait a minute, you didn't hire the council. No, the people didn't. That's what makes it easier for the General Assembly to dismiss a general council that was appointed by a bishop that had been manipulating the constitution of the organization for all these years. It's easier to dismiss a general council or any other body that had been assembled by the bishop who had manipulated the laws of the organization in order to deceive the organization for all these years. This is easy work. And it literally takes less than 10 minutes. That's what you all need to understand. Zalika says, just my opinion. We as a culture have been misled about the Most High and the oneness with the Holy Spirit. I feel like what was used on the slaves, our ancestors, was used against us to control us. Yes, this is very much true. This is 100% accurate. It has been. And the worst part is our own people And by our own, I mean members of our organization. I'm not talking about ethnicity. I'm not talking about nationality. I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about religious beliefs. Our own people within our belief systems has taken advantage of individuals and oppressed them for many, 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 many years. And now the table is turning to where the members are waking up and they're seeing where they've been oppressed and they've been lied to and they've been taken advantage of and deceived and manipulated and completely robbed. And each and every year, the oppressors have kept their foot to make sure they keep you right there while taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. And Mr. Cunningham wants you all the delegates to come in there and do nothing so that the next year he can keep taking and taking and taking. Every time he comes to another city, he's going to have his hand out for tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars just to take. And your job is going to be to go back to keep giving him more brown paper bags full of money while you get nothing. While you get nothing, not even the word. You get nothing for your soul. You get nothing spiritual nourishment. You're not even going to get anything if you're in need physically, if you're in need for food, clothes, shelter. You're not even getting a kind word. You're just being told that I'm God, I'm God, I'm God. But when you need something, no, trust God, trust God, trust God. Don't look at me. But when it's all good, money coming in again, even if you get a stimulus check from Uncle Sam, I'm God, I'm God. Mm-mm. Time out for all of this. DC is an at-will employment district. You don't need no reason whatsoever to fire any employees, and the CEO is an employee. So, Ms. Corrine says, now remember, most people will be leaving Thursday, so you only have Tuesday and Wednesday to work with. Oh, yeah, we got it. Yeah, I thought this out last 2-3 weeks ago. But remember, everybody, I'm not stalling for no reason. We know right now they're meeting. So we don't want to put out but so much information because they're meeting. They're meeting. They're having meetings about all this stuff. So I intentionally am not putting things out until certain times. Why? It's because I don't want them to plan around what you all are being told. Okay. So with that in mind, Golden Boy says, at will states protect the employer way more than the employee also. Right there. Why is that true? Because in an at will state, the burden of proof is on the employee. They fired me for discrimination. Okay, well, can you prove it? Well, I don't have the records that cover it. Well, I mean, what do you want us to do? You can't prove it? Go to the unemployment office, stage left. Left. Stage left. And this is what they've been doing to people year in and year out. They don't care about people. They embarrass you, kick you, whatever happens, whatever. So, yes, at will jurisdictions, they favor the employer. But when you get a union, now the burden of proof is on the employer. That's why a lot of employers don't like unions. They love at will, and they'll do everything they can to fight against the union. So in this organization, we have an employer, which is the people. And you have an employee, which is the CEO. And you now understand as the employer that the CEO been taking advantage of everybody in here. And he thinks that he's going to walk down that aisle and have everybody bow down to him. This is a business meeting, sir. You're coming in here to be evaluated or terminated for all of this unlawful behavior that you've been performing and bringing bad image onto the organization. And now you got governmental bodies looking at us as a result of your behavior and these other men that you call the general counsel. They can be eliminated just like that. One vote. The Constitution Revision Committee, eliminated just like that. One vote. Why? Because these are bodies of people that's been put together by the general, not by the General Assembly, but by the CEO. And they've been unknowingly put there in order for them to protect him behind the backs of the members. Also, General Assembly Secretary and his staff. They've been working hand in hand with the CEO to protect the CEO. There's all kinds of laws and regulations about this that make it illegal. To fire them is having mercy. Is having mercy. But to have the organization's body, the General Assembly, and go after them for legal penalties, the court will light them up. If the General Assembly decided to go after these individuals in court who has manipulated everybody in this organization, the court will light them up. To terminate them by terminating him and making a vote to eliminate the Constitutional Revision Committee, the General Counsel, and to replace the General Assembly Secretary and the assistant and that group of people, to eliminate them is mercy because of all the penalties that the law says would be coming at them if this organization took them to court. This is a slap on the wrist to eliminate them. That's the least that can happen to them. Golden Boy says, huge point here. Right. When you're out, you're out. And it's hard to prove improper termination. Right. Except this would be proper. And for all the members in that General Assembly who easily outnumber the council, that's why they're so terrified of the people, because they know it's only maybe 60 of them. Okay, so you have 137 pastors, 137 plus 60, right? But yet you have 137 delegates times 2. Now, everybody may not be there, but you are looking at right now, in case they were, 274 delegates that are not council outside of the General Assembly, and they're not pastors. Now, the numbers can easily teeter-totter. But we're not looking at 2/3 of a vote in order to pass a motion. You're only looking at a majority. And since there are way more delegates than the pastors and this council, then you will easily win every single vote every single time. And by the end of this session, an hour later, it's all over, said and done. And we can really get busy getting some business done and out the way. All the threats, all the insults, all of the bullying, all of the stuff. I can't, just the stuff. The members, it's just dealing with these people. It's just, and 100 years of it. So anyway, it's just like that can be done. Zalika says, please wake up, people. Brother Joseph and all the awakened members are helping you in a wonderful way. They are true messengers of the Most High. And we're just trying to do what we're doing. That's Mint's good call, out Golden Boy. Yeah, the states back up the employers in those types of situations. I'm not upset, I'm happy. A bishop may be removable by a board of directors, trustees, a council of elders, or a denominational authority, depending on how the organization is structured legally and spiritually. And this is just by vote. Listen, every single time they want to amend the Constitution, what do they have the people do? Don't they call y'all to the General Assembly and get y'all to vote? That's because they know that downtown, they expect a vote from this body called the General Assembly. And if you vote and they're done, it's over. And they know it. So they have nothing but threats to tell you. And you get to Washington, you keep your big mouth shut. What are you going to do? You are out. You are out. Get your hat and your coat and go. I remember the bishop saying that to everybody in the organization. Here's your CEO telling everybody in the organization, get your hat and coat and leave. If you don't like what's going on, you don't like all this money I'm collecting, you don't like all this child labor that I'm using, you don't like all this trafficking that we're doing with your children, get your hat and coat and leave. If y'all don't like all the rumors and the gossip and the stuff that y'all heard about stuff going on behind closed doors, get your hat and coat and leave. If y'all don't like the stuff that your children are whispering to you all about what's going on, get your hat and coat and leave. Y'all don't like it when you ask us questions. We tell you to be quiet and stop asking questions. We ain't gonna tell you nothing about no books. We ain't gonna tell you nothing about no bank accounts. We ain't got to tell you where we spending the money, how we spending the money, who getting the money. Get your hat and coat and leave. Get your hat and coat and leave. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Standing up Sunday afternoon, Memorial Day service, the General Assembly Secretary telling all the people here, if you're not gonna work with Mr. Cunningham, if you don't like Mr. Cunningham, y'all see those doors, those red signs? Bye-bye, bye-bye. Where do they get the unadulterated gall to tell every member in this organization to leave while they sit there and do anything and everything that they want behind closed doors, all kinds of stuff, immoral stuff, unethical stuff, illegal stuff, and tell you and I to get our hats and coats and leave? Where do they get that? When the law says, wait a minute, hold, no. Listen, members, y'all fix this. When you do, we got your back. Y'all get in that meeting and y'all fix it. We gonna wait for you. We got your back. That's what Golden Boy just said. The government has the people's back. There's nothing for them to do once you dismiss them. And you will never, ever have to worry about the bullying, the tactics, the secrecy, the backdoor meetings, all of the just the nonsense and the stuff. People being sickened and getting disease from these apartments because they're not putting nothing in it to fix it, not maintaining anything, just telling you, give more daddy's club. Here's another 17 cents pen. Bring me another $2,000. You want to walk down the red carpet? That's $5,000. This is insanity. And we're saying, no. I want some more. I want some more. Beat on us some more. Abuse us some more. Do with them whatever you want. We haven't had enough yet. That's what we're saying. Now, again, I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen, because I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen last. If they come in and the delegates don't do anything about this. Okay. Thank you for that comment. I'm not upset, I'm happy. Golden Boy says, true indeed, and I'm not upset, I'm happy. Ms. Green, having the bishop sit down in the audience needs to be a part of that emotion, that motion as well. Absolutely. The motion, I move that every single member of this body, to include the CEO and every pastor and every man with a credential, that this entire front be emptied and we move them to sit inside of the pews during this assembly, with the exception of the one person who's calling the order of the meeting, and maybe the recording secretary. The only ones should be in the front is that table, whether it's a treasurer, whether it's a recording secretary, and whoever is that's sharing the meeting. And how do we do? Don't we see the same thing in cabinet meetings? Don't you see the same thing in your auxiliary meetings? In the elders' meetings in the house, in the house meetings in your houses, when y'all having cabinet meetings, does the pastor sit up there in the pastor's chair up on the platform? During a house meeting or cabinet meeting, does the pastor sit up on the chair on the platform? Right? They don't. Because during a house meeting or cabinet meeting, they're on the floor. And that's where they're supposed to be at, on the floor. It's a meeting. And you are down there with them in that meeting. Ms. Mintz, run good defense. I'm not upset, I'm happy, says a bishop may be removable by a board of directors. Okay, we read that. Zalika, Brother Joseph, serious question. Why are some members so afraid to speak up when they secretly within don't agree? It's just intimidation. It's literally been 100 years. And the intimidation causes people to be afraid. And what they're afraid of is what if? It's that what if syndrome. What if it doesn't work? And literally, that's all it is. And so a lot of people keep themselves held back in life that way because they say, what if? Instead of just doing what it is that they have the opportunity to do. What if it works? Instead of asking, what if it doesn't work? What if it works? Right? So that's the reason why. Almai, do y'all use the term overseer? Sounds like a plantation. No, we don't use overseer. We did at one point, but no longer. Oh, that's good in this case. It's at will. Yeah. DC is at will. And I don't say DC because of that's where he lives. I say DC because DC is where the House of Prayer is incorporated. So if you're incorporated there, then you're under their jurisdiction. And since it's an at-will employment jurisdiction, the employer, which is the organization that is a nonprofit that hired a CEO, that organization, which is a nonprofit, can also fire the CEO anytime without any reason whatsoever. You don't need to explain why. And we know that this CEO has gone completely haywire. To march, have the people march in a parade and have your picture on a truck being pulled around the streets of the city of Columbia, South Carolina, your picture being pulled on a truck, and you got two boys sitting on a platform, no, maybe 3 or 4 boys sitting on a platform in front of this picture on a truck being pulled through the streets of Columbia, South Carolina. And then to tell everybody that the services there that night is your party, you got to go. You have to go. Every single thing here has been about the bishops taking and humiliating the people, embarrassing the people, and exalting themselves. And now we know that this whole time they've been lying to and manipulating even the various congregational facilities and houses and properties are under the ownership. That's what it looks like, that they're under the ownership of different people around the organization. We don't know nothing about it, where you literally own different houses of prayers and complexes and apartment built, all this stuff they own, but we don't know anything about it. The fact that the members know nothing whatsoever that's going on in this organization, that in itself is more than enough reason to get rid of this man and that general counsel and that constitutional revision committee, so that we can get serious about being a nonprofit organization before they come in. Because you look around, you see all these other religious leaders going to prison and people going with them for the illegal activities that they're doing behind the members' backs. We're going to bust those cases wide open with all the activity that these people have been doing. This is your opportunity. Cocoa Girl says the members will suffer emotional and financial distress for the rest of their lives. Lawsuit. Well, they can file a lawsuit. However, that will take a little bit of time. The fastest thing, the easiest thing, the simplest thing is to vote. They're done. Other things can be done later. That's going to take time. But the problem is our members need to understand this date, Friday, is going to come and it's going to go. Once Friday morning comes, whatever's going to happen must happen right then and there. It has to happen Friday morning. Once that meeting is over, that is it. Not another one. If they're still there, no other meeting will come until this time next year. Can y'all imagine the junk that they're going to do a whole nother year if nothing happens here? Look at the junk that they've done last year. All of the hollering and the yelling at the people and the threats, because they know that they're being exposed for all this stuff. Let me go ahead and finish. Ms. Kareen, Zalika, the problem is how the members are taught what the bishop is to them and who he represents. That's where the fear comes in, to the point that they do not separate church and state. Kakor girl, they don't need credentials. They need true credentials, lying to the members, right? Thank you, Ms. Kareen, and thank you, Kakor girl. Ray, the ex-HOJ. Interesting conversation. My former church changed their corporate status to a non-member corporation. There's no voting membership class. The board of directors has total control of the church. Ray, thank you for sharing that with us. We're trying to get the members here to understand that the leaders in here have been doing all kinds of stuff behind the members' back. And it seems, according to what you just said, that that's exactly what they did to your organization. They were working behind the backs of the members, and the people didn't know. And the things that they were doing behind the people's back, they got it done. Right? So now let's go through these main motions. Okay. Number one, A main motion, the most important motions. Number one, the main motion introduces new business or an action for the group to decide. I want to make another motion. A different motion means we're done with one, we're getting ready to go into another. A main motion. The purpose again is to introduce new business. So after a vote has been had to do this and everything's done, now I'd like to move that we do this. Let's do this next. Let's do this next. Let's do this next. The wording for a main motion is I move that the organization approve the 2027 budget. That's your main motion. What the main motion does, it starts a discussion on a new idea. It starts the discussion on a new idea. A main motion needs to have a second, so somebody else has to stand. I second that motion. Once it has a second, it's got to go forward. This is the equivalent of scripture saying, out of the mouth of two or three, let every word be established. Two is the minimum. So now you have a motion, you have somebody else, it doesn't matter who. I like that. I want to see that go forward. I second it. Boom, now it's got to go. Is it debatable? Yes, people can debate. Why I am against that motion, why I'm for that motion. And whoever is directing the meeting, they interchangeably refer back and forth. Oppose, in favor of. Oppose, in favor of. Is there anybody who opposed? Left? Yes. Anybody who are in favor? Yes. Until everybody has spoken. Does it need a vote? Yes. And it's the majority. 28 people vote no. 29 people vote yes. Yeses have it. Majority. When do you use a main motion? Anytime you want the group to do something. Anytime. Use a main motion. A second, whenever you second something, I second that. The purpose of the second, it shows at least two people want to discuss the idea. Two people want to discuss it. The wording is, once again, I second. Does a second need a vote? No. You don't vote on a second. The second is just to support the main motion. Seconding a motion, this is important to keep in mind. Seconding a motion does not mean you agree with it. It just means that's interesting. I want to hear more about that. I second that. I want to open up the floor for debate. You don't have to say why you second, you just second it. Now, this idea deserves a discussion, and now it goes to discussion. Many people don't know that you have the power to amend a motion. You have the power to amend a motion. That's another powerful move in a meeting. Excuse me. The council, somebody who's a councilman outside the meeting, they stand, I move that we prepare the meeting for adjournment. I second. I move to amend the motion. Somebody can say. I move to amend that motion by preparing to adjourn once we set future dates. So now his motion can still go forward, but it cannot be, the meeting cannot adjourn until we set future dates. Motions can be amended. Um, I make a motion that we dismiss the current CEO and immediately move for replacement. I move to amend that motion by dismissing the current CEO along with the current general counsel and whatever, um, and immediately move for replacement. You're just changing that motion. You like it, you can add to it. Okay. What that does, it creates an edit. You're editing somebody else's motion. Does a motion to amend, when you amend a motion, does that need a second? Yes, because it's still a motion. Yes. Yes. Is amending a motion, is that debatable? Yes. People can debate afterwards. Yes. Is there a vote needed still on an amended motion? On an amended motion? Yes. Majority rules, right? So when do you use an amendment of an? When do you use and amend to motion? Whenever you mostly agree with the motion, but you want to change something. Okay. There's also a friendly amendment. A friendly amendment. The purpose of a friendly amendment is it's a simple change everybody agrees to. It's a friendly amendment. The wording is like, would the maker of this motion accept a friendly amendment? Do you mind a friendly amendment? Technically, Robert's rules doesn't officially recognize friendly amendments. The chair usually just asks if everybody agrees. Again, it's just a friendly amendment. Another one's called tabling the motion. If there's an emotion, not emotion, uh, tabling the emotion, it temporarily sets a motion aside. It temporarily sets a motion to the side. We're going to table that for now. I move to lay the motion on the table, to table it. What it does is it pauses the discussion temporarily. I move to table the motion. Does it need a second? To table a motion, does it need someone to second that motion? Yes, it does. Is it debatable? Can people go into discussion whether or not they agree or not? No, it's not debatable. Once it's seconded, then they just usually ask, all in favor of tabling the motion? Let it be known by. Right. So if you don't have a sensitive vote on the floor, everybody just raise your hands. If it's sensitive, then you can have secret ballots. You can have people stand, you can have people raise their hand, or you can have secret ballots. Or you can have people just simply say aye. All opposed, same sign. Aye. Um, when do you use a table to motion? Only if something urgent interrupts the meeting. Not supposed to be used in order to kill a debate. If there's a heated debate, well, I'm in favor of that because I don't like this and da 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 da. Well, no, y'all don't do that. I move to table the motion. No, you can't use it at that time. It has to be an emergency situation. Um, I move to take from the table. The purpose is to bring a tabled motion back into discussion. Wording is, I move to take the motion from the table. Is there a vote needed? How many of you, all of those in favor of taking the motion off the table? Has to be a majority vote. 7, um, postpone to a certain time. I move that we postpone the meeting until the next appointed time, means the meeting is already appointed. We have it the first Saturday of every month. It's the next appointed time means first Saturday next month. If there is no appointed time already set, I move that we adjourn the meeting, um, or postpone the meeting until next month. Postponement. Um, is that debatable? Yes. Well, why do you want to postpone? Because I don't think we need to deal with that right now. They still have to come back first before we see what the results were. Well, I think we should go ahead right now. It's debatable. Um, refer to committee is another order. When you refer to the committee, this sends the issue to a smaller group for study. So if you're talking about something and I move that we refer that to a committee, then what you're saying is, instead of us talking about this issue, let us give this to a handful of people and let them deal with it. It'll save us time. CEO compensation plan. Instead of us trying to come up with compensation plan and benefits and all that stuff for C, I move that we refer that to a committee. Excuse me. Um, it also allows the committee to investigate something or deal with it and report back to the assembly. Let us know, okay, how did you deal with it? What did you do? But you give that task to someone else. Um, when do you use this? Whenever the issue on the floor is too detailed or too complicated, you easily assign it to a small group. Um, this this one, a lot of people get sketchy with, but it's called the call, a call to question, a call to question, not call to question, call the question. I call the question. Um, the purpose of that is to end the debate and it forces a vote. So if people just going back and forth, 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 I move to call the question. We're wasting too much time. We've been on this for the last hour and 20 minutes. I move to call the question. I second that motion. Boom. All of you have heard the motion. Are you ready for question? Question. All those in favor, and then you have to go with the question. Um, this stops the discussion immediately if it's approved. And it does need a second, and it's not debatable. In order to call the question and stop a discussion, which is a debate, in order for that to be successful and to carry over, the vote cannot be majority. In order to call the question and stop a discussion, the vote cannot be a majority. It has to be by 2/3. It has to be the greater majority of the body in order to stop the discussion. And this is what Mr. Cunningham should have done 2022. Instead of saying, no, we're going to cut off conversations here. We're not going to allow nobody else to talk about this subject. We got to move on. Now, see, that was out of order. You don't get to cut off a meeting. You're supposed to put it to a vote. Once you put it to a vote, then y'all go forward. But 2/3 is necessary because it's important to hear these discussions and the debate. And why 2/3? It removes people's right to keep debating. Again, they have the right to say anything and everything they want until they're done talking. But a call the question move will stop them. So instead of majority, no, you need 2/3, and it's very, very difficult. It is extremely difficult to get 2/3 of the vote of the people in order to carry out an order. Here, we have point of order. And this is what Ms. Mintz was talking about. Point of order that corrects a rule violation. Well, no, we can't go that route because we have time. Point of order, point of order, point of order. Right? What it does is it stops proceedings to fix an improper procedure. They got to stop. Point of order, all attention on that person. Yes, what's your point of order? Does it need a second? No. Does it need a vote? No. Why? Because you see somebody, you see somebody in error and you're trying to fix it before the meeting continues. Example, if the chair skips someone who had their hand up and this person raises their hand, but their hand's been up now for the last 8 minutes and they call it yes. Point of order. Melinda had, this delegate had their hand up first. Thank you. Yes. It is to make sure that everybody is heard. If the bylaws are violated, debate rules are ignored. What does that mean? That means when they get up to waive the reading of the minutes and you want to hear the minutes, all those in favor of waiving the minutes, reading of the minutes, all opposed, I oppose. What is your opposition? I would like to hear the minutes from 2022, 2023. Well, we can't go that far. Point of order. Point of order. Bylaws have been violated or the rules have been ignored. Has anyone ever heard the reading of the minutes? Have they been adopted by this body? We need to hear those minutes so that we can see what's in those minutes before we move further in this meeting. I'm telling you all, they're not going to be able to get away if you all understand the rules and how to use it. Appeal the decision of the chair is a big one. I move to appeal the decision of the chair. You're saying, I don't like what you just, I don't like what you just did. I don't like what you just said. If you're saying something and it's going in a direction that looks like you're not being fair, if you're saying something that looks like you're just protecting the bishop, like you're just supporting, well, no, we're not going to go that right. I appeal the decision of the chair. That means I'm challenging their ruling. Let's have the group decide whether the chair was correct. The group decides. Does it need a second? Yes. Does it need a majority vote? Yes, it does. This is where the king or the president or the member, the chair, they go into question. If you think the chair ruled unfairly or incorrectly, then you can call a point of order. And this one is going to be interesting because people are going to be watching for everything, every single thing. Um, Here, point of information. Point of information's purpose is it asks factual questions. I have a question about information that I'm seeking. The wording, how do you say it? Point of information, example. How much money was spent last year? This is where you can ask questions to get something that you want to know that might be pertinent. This is not a debate. You can't debate a point of information. And it allows for only questions, not debate. Um, Parliamentary inquiry parliamentary inquiry. This asks about meeting rules. I want to inquire about the parliamentary procedures. And does this motion require a 2/3 vote? Parliamentary inquiry. Right. Um, Another order is division of the assembly. It challenges unclear voice vote. After a vote has been tallied, that vote in itself can be challenged. The wording is division, or I call for division. And what it does is it forces a counted vote. Y'all remember back in the day when Vice President Al Gore was running against Mr. Bush? Um, and I think it was Florida. He challenged the votes in Florida because of something they call Chad. In the machine, it punches these little teeny tiny holes of paper out. Um, well, looking at that, the laser on these machines read the marks of the voter's card where the lead has been circled inside to let you know who they're voting for. So they challenged it so that they can hand count the ballots. That's what this does. I call for division. Okay, well, we need to go back and do this now. Recount the vote. There's no second needed. There's no vote needed. When do you use a call for a division? If the voice vote seems inaccurate, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Aye. I call for division. Let's count all of this instead of saying that. That's way too close. With that said, let me go to the comments. Cocoa Girl says the bishop could be jailed for fraud and theft. Pure deception to the members. The members are brainwashed. That's 100% accurate. That's 100% accurate. He can be jailed for fraud and theft and a whole lot more. The members don't understand these are white collar crimes. And we're looking at a whole lot of issues. a lot of issues. Um, but because we're not paying attention, we continue being brainwashed. And now this is where we're waking up. The lies of him and her. Under Robert's rules, a main motion starts the discussion on a new idea or proposal. The motion must receive a second, meaning another member says, I second the motion, right? Uh, Mr. What do you believe? Someone asked, why are members afraid to speak up? Number one, most of us were taught as children to never expose in house family business, a no snitching rule. We carry that mindset into the church community. You don't snitch on what's going on inside, is what he's saying. You don't tell people what's going on in here. It's family business. We take care of family business. And that's accurate. That is what a lot of people are told. Um, Number two, most of us are more confrontational with our family members than we are with church, human flawed men. Yeah, we will confront family in a heartbeat. How many times you see a sibling look at their brother or their sister and jump on them in a heartbeat. But people out here, you see them doing, and you might jump on your brother or sister for nothing. What you looking at? Gosh, look over there. But these people, you see them looking, right? Looking. And they're not hiding how they're looking or what they're looking at or who they're looking at. But more importantly, they're not hiding why they're looking. And you can see all kinds of thoughts. And these may be in people who have titles and positions and who are in place as examples of everybody else. But we won't say anything. But willing to say something to your brother and says, what are you looking at? But over there, how's you looking over it? What are you doing? You looking over it? Uh-uh. We're gonna take care of this in the meeting after service. That's what you're supposed to do. And thank you for that, Mr. What do you believe? Wally says, hello and peace. I'm late tonight, but I'm here. Brother Lewis, thank you for all you do. Delegates, time to get your business straight. Time has wound up. To get understanding, y'all got this. Thank you, Wally. Appreciate you. Mr. What do you believe? They believe the myth and folklore that teaches if you confront the bishop, you're going to hell. Yes. And that's why I read last night talking about Paul in Galatians, where he confronted Peter. No, you're supposed to confront. You're supposed to confront. And as an employer, your job is to confront the employees. You can't be the employer and be afraid of the employees. Right? But this is what we need to understand. B. Mevderman, Mr. What do you believe? That's right. But we also believed that Addie was always right in the form of brainwashing. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. And that goes hand in hand. with what Mr. What Do You Believe is saying. We've been manipulated to the T. Ooh, it's so bad. So bad. Um, Wiley says, Brother Lewis has laid out the path. We should not be afraid of transparency of our own sacrifices. Remember, have faith because they will try to intimidate you. God be with you. Who can be against you? Yeah, they can try to intimidate you, but again, you're now the boss. You know you're the boss. And with one vote, they're gone. Now, again, tonight, I'm not telling you exactly what to say. I'm just going over what the different orders are and explaining them, right? Um, and what I will do is print. Matter of fact, just Google it. Google a cheat sheet of all of Robert's rules of orders, motions to move a meeting. And it'll print out all the different motions. In fact, just ask, what are all the motions of Robert's rules of order? And when do I make those motions? Why do I make those motions? And what is it that those motions do? It'll give you clear instruction. Okay. For the most part, I've covered the main things so that you will understand that you don't have to take. They tell you, start yelling at what? No, 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 no. Robert's rules ensure that nobody is disrespected. It's not supposed to be chaotic. I move that the gentleman be asked to refrain from disrespecting other delegates during this meeting. And it's the chairperson's job to make sure they do. Not going to have that. We don't do that. Another one is suspend the rules. Matter of fact, suspend the rules. Let me come back to suspend the rules. Tomorrow, I'm going to finish this tomorrow. I'm going to finish going over the different orders to move a meeting. And then I think what I'll do is go over a mock. We will have a mock meeting. And I'm just going to read and show you how these things flow. That way you'll see it for yourselves. For those of you who are interested, you can even go on YouTube and you can put in a mock meeting using Robert's Rules of Order. There's some animated versions. There's some real versions of people just carrying out, but it will allow you to see all of these things. But as far as tonight goes, I just noticed the time. I don't want to go beyond midnight and keep you up. But let me continue with the comments. Thank you, Wally. We appreciate that. Mr. What Do You Believe says that is fact at BMEV. I can name many reasons. I just wanted to address that discussion. We need to talk about the why more, right? We need to talk about the why more. Why don't our members confront these issues? Is what they're saying. We need to talk about the why more. Zalika says, we were taught the same thing. Were your members instructed to cut off family members that were no longer members? Yes, quite often. We've had bishops to tell people, if people don't believe what you believe and don't agree with what you agree with, cut them off. In fact, maybe 4 weeks ago, we just had that same teaching by Mr. Cunningham. People don't believe what you believe, cut them off. If they don't believe what you believe, they talk about your leader and they talk about this, and before we feel, and we see this off and on all the time. So yes, to answer your question, yes. Um, and many members have cut off their family members. Many members have left their friends, even marriages. It's not so common today, but people have done it. Um, and Zalika, everyone, you all will understand. She's asking a lot of questions because she's literally coming from a place of worship that is strikingly similar to the house of prayer. They call their bishop supreme bishop, I think. Is that correct, Zalika? The supreme bishop. Um, but it's very, very, very similar to the house of prayer. Um, People doing different things and serving in different ways. He has a raised platform as well over there where she's coming from. But it's interesting for her because she's hearing a lot of things that she knows they practice in that place. And this is why she's asking the questions that she's asking. Um, Wally says, we're all counting on you, delegates, and so many that has already gone to glory. We owe this to all. Let's fix this organization and set it straight. That is on the Father and His Son. Yeah, there's a great responsibility here. And we are hoping and looking um, for all of those who are so inclined to do so, to raise these issues, these concerns, and these motions, and do what you feel is right. Either way, we pray that our Father's will be done. Um, Mr. What do you believe? Says at Zalika, yes, yes. However, it's not so bad as it was in the past. People are slowly realizing that cutting off family for a church is silly. And when you look at that and then how certain things are maneuvering in this organization, then you'll actually understand that there's a shift. And many people are seeing and are getting fed up with all the things they're hearing about. And many people are just done, just done. Golden Boy said the whys behind the what, right? And very important because the people who allow and continue to go through and continue to endure those types of things, it's very unfortunate because the things that people may have enjoyed are the things that all of a sudden cannot be enjoyed because of the trauma or the experiences or the things that other people are doing to you as they're attacking or assaulting or insulting. And we've seen all of this down through the years in our organization. And so I'm just saying that many people, it's just, they're over it and they're just ready to get to a place where we can do what we're supposed to be doing and be for real about it. Um, Zalika says, as I stated, I've never been a member of your organization, but the similarities are just interesting. Oh my goodness, the marriage is a total different subject. Yes, they call the Supreme Bishop Father. And she's not talking about the house of prayer, she's talking about where she came from. They call the supreme bishop in their organization father. So we see there's a lot of stuff going on all over the place that we don't know. And this is why I keep saying it's not just here. But what I'm thankful for is that these videos can go out and all kinds of people from all walks of life, from anywhere around the planet, any geographical area. Not only do we get to see that there are others out here that were doing what we're doing, but by doing what we're doing on this channel, we're letting other people know y'all don't have to take that either. This shake to awake movement can be felt and received by people around the planet who's going through this type of manipulation and so much others and so much more. That in mind, um, let me read this next comment. Mr. What do you believe? Zalika, I'm sure I speak for most of us who are not active members. Welcome, and we welcome the discourse. Right, right. And Zalika has been with us for quite some time, off and on, back and forth, paying attention because it was striking to her that we have so many similarities, many similarities. Um, and she's finding it interesting as she goes to share with others. And they're finding it interesting as they come and see because they've been there, done that. Um, when we look at where we are now, again, we're going to put out a lot of information over the next couple of days. And the hope is that you all can digest it. But what we do know is it's up to him to move on people's hearts, to say anything and do anything. Um, may very well be the opportunity this weekend to take care of it, get rid of it, to deal with it, so that we all can simply breathe. If nothing happens, we still want to be able to come out proud, knowing that we know better now. But we also want to remember that he knows what he's doing. We don't want to set anybody up to expect that get ready because they're going to do this. We just want to understand that he has his will that he is working on and bringing it to pass. If anything at all, we want to make sure that we're paying close attention. When we come back, we'll finalize these orders, requests, motions, and give you more information. And then we will have the mock meeting so that you can see exactly how it should go, right? Almost just like we did the agenda, we'll do the mock meeting, and so you can see exactly how it should go. I mean, with rebuttals and all, going back and forth with anyone, the whole nine, so that you'll be prepared just in case. And then we will give you the verbatim, exactly what to say. So at this time, we have Ray, the ex, says, Joseph, I'm Zalika's brother. I figured that. I figured you were. I figured you were. The HOJ, I thought House of Jacob, the ex House of Jacob member. Um, but I'm Zalika's brother, and she told me about y'all's conversation and the similarities of our former church. I look forward to talking with you, my brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. Text me and let me know a good time to talk. I have a meeting, an engagement tomorrow. I might have news for everyone on the channel um, very, very soon. We'll see. We'll see how things go when something takes place. But anyway, I have an engagement tomorrow, and then another engagement in the afternoon. So if you have time around 1 o'clock or later than 5 o'clock. Either way, I can text you and see if you're able to talk, and we can go from there. But you all should know there's many, many, many similarities that they have seen in their organization. Now, I'm gonna say this. I think Ray Zalika, I think y'all's organization have us beat in some ways. The level of control that y'all members are under, what I heard, we don't have it that bad. We have it bad. This is bad. Don't get me wrong. This is so bad. But the control over you all in certain aspects, people, and there's members still dealing with that in that organization that they're coming out of. And so Ray has begun to do what it is that we're doing on the channel, this channel. Um, so with that in mind, y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea. Um, and this stuff is so bad. Every single organization, my hope is that people can wake up and do something about these leaders that's just completely taking advantage of people. And it would be immensely, enormously, massively huge if we went into that assembly, turn it up. So all I can do is prepare you. Um, all I can do is give you the words, and you can add to these words, but I'm going to guide you, just a guide. And with that said, we'll finish up this list tomorrow. Again, it's after now midnight. I want to thank each and every one of you who's here with us earlier, who's here with us this evening. And we should be able to finish the rest of this list early, and then get to the mock meeting on tomorrow. And that would leave us with Wednesday, being able to see what we haven't covered yet, so that we can finalize anything and make sure that your confidence is out the roof uh, on Thursday. I may do something on Thursday still, but just stay tuned. And again, get excited, because after we finish this list, you all are going to understand that nothing anybody does or say, all you got to do is just steer it the other way. You got this. It is literally as simple as this. So, and then remember, at will employment jurisdiction in Washington. Okay. So let me read the last couple. Zalika says, Joseph in chat, that's my blood brother. And we have been watching your channel and seeing the same similarities in the organization we're part of, right? Um, oh my goodness, yes, but I'm not a member anymore. Uh, it, again, I was surprised to hear what I heard earlier, Zalika. I was so surprised. Ms. Kareem says, I'm glad that you two were able to come from among them. I will say, let us pray for one another that all of our eyes will be open and our devotion will only be towards the Most High. 100%, absolutely. And I'm telling you all, there's members around the organization that are suffering and enduring the same types of things as we are. It is real. People are being hurt all over the place. As you see, the house of prayer is not just it. And where they came from, the leaders are saying the exact same thing, that they're God on earth. And you have to hear them. You have to receive them. But their setup is quite a bit more elaborate than the house of prayers. And they're not anywhere as big as the house of prayer, nowhere near as much money as the house of prayer. But they have a control on the minds of those people like I have not even seen. I thought the members' house of prayer, oh, people, I'm telling you, people going through it. And we can be the guiding light to lead people out of these situations. So we're going to be talking with Ray and Zalika some more. And there's a possibility that we might even be doing some things together so that we can help them as they are trying to help them. Um, oh, let me check to see if anyone has sent me anything before I close out. Messages and texts. Uh, yes, yes. Yes, I just learned about this earlier. Um, the young lady that was found, it was said that the young lady that was found behind the house of prayer in Dorada, um, it was said that she was again found behind Dorada, um, in the um, I can't think straight now. There's a young lady that was found a few days ago, and we have a pond behind one of the houses of prayers at Dorada. Um, but she wasn't found there. She was found off, a little ways off in the tree lines off of the parsonage. Um, it was described that it was there, and there's actually a picture, not just of her, but a picture of how she was found. Um, and you can see the surroundings. But at any rate, um, it's a very very unfortunate event for that to happen. And again, things that's coming and going and taking place, the timing is very very odd for us. Um, we have also um, oh yes, thank you, thank you. We spoke about um, Miss Gwendolyn Struther of Washington D.C. last last night. And I said I would get whatever amount is needed, and so that we can discuss it and talk about it here. Said that she's in waiting, has been waiting for a few weeks, uh, so that she could be laid to rest. And we talked about what's needed. And we shared this also for individuals to have. Um, the news is her funeral services will be this Thursday at 11 o'clock at the funeral home on the flyer in Alexandria, Virginia. So we're grateful to hear that she will be laid to rest. Um, as I was preparing to call, I got a series of calls and a bunch of things took place from there. I will still be calling. I listed in my schedule to see if there's any remainder of anything that's needed so that I can again post it on the channel and we can go from there. But thank you for sharing this. Thank you for sending this so that we can uh, put the news out and appeal to anybody that would like to assist and join in taking care of this very much needed issue. So thank you once again. Um, Wally says, I propose to fast and pray on Thursday, May 21st. Just a thought, my brother. Get some rest. We have a lot coming. Thank you. Uh, we're looking at the next 3 days, um, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. Um, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's just praying that our Father's will be done. There's things that's going on all around. Excuse me. All around. And he's busy, extremely busy. We want to make ourselves available to assist our Father in whatever capacity he can use us. So we have, and anybody else, if you would like to join in, by all means, um, the more, the better, the merrier. And it moves um, strongholds. We don't know what he's doing, we don't know what he's done, but we're not going to sit idle and sit back and allow the wicked one to do what he's doing. We know that he's not resting. We know that they're not resting. And we see again with Zalika and Ray's presence that there's many people, and same thing, they have congregations in that organization literally all over the country, all over the country, all over the country. Um, and there's other places like this. So we're grateful for them that they were able to join in with us. Zalika and Ray, we're grateful to have you. I look forward to talking with both of you more. Ray, I look forward to actually meeting you for the first time and speaking with you um, soon. In the meantime, Zalika said, thank you to everyone on the chat who received us. The organization we were a part of has so many similarities as the United House of Prayer. You are not alone. Abundant peace and blessings be multiplied unto all. Ray said, good night. I enjoyed my time with you all. We enjoyed you as well. Have a wonderful evening. We pray that we all get much needed rest and that we don't allow these thoughts to permeate our minds and to not allow us to have a peaceful rest. We want to lay these things down, swipe up, turn them over to our Father so that we can sit back and rest peacefully, get up in the morning to go about our business, clothed in our right mind with the capabilities about us to do what we need to do in order to have uh, the ability to take care of the things that we need to do spiritually as well as naturally. So, with that said, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a wonderful night. And we hope to see you all in the next video. Until then, take care, everybody.